Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's videos. Today we will go for calculus part 2, differentiation application part. So for the first part, which is the technical part, basic rules, the special 5 product rule, quotient rule, or you can refer to the previous video. Okay, so today we will focus on the 5 application which include equation of tangent normal, rate of change, small changes, kinematic, and maximum, minimum, or turning point. Let's go. So first part, we are going to the equation of tangent. So equation of tangent normal means a straight line. Whenever you need to form a straight line equation, you must have 3 information, which is y, x, and gradient. X, y, and gradient are the information that we must gather first. So let's see this question. They say we have an equation of a curve, which is this, asks us to find dy dx. So the first part, they ask us to do product rule first. So product rule, we have 4 information. After gather this 4 information, we can find dy dx, this time this, plus this time this. So this is for first part. So after getting this first part, they ask us to find equation of tangent. So every time you see equation of tangent, you write down what is x, what is y, what is gradient. So the x is given pi over 2 is given here, pi over 2. So we need to find what is the value of y by subs the x into the y equation. You get it is pi over 2. Then to get the gradient of tangent is exactly the same as dy dx. Then we'll get what? Our gradient is 1. So after we have x, y, and gradient, we can subs into the straight line equation. For example, we can use y equals to mx plus c. So y is this, m is 1, x is this, plus c. So we found that c is 0. Then we can subs in y equals to 1, x plus 0. So this is my final answer. Y equals x, equation of the tangent. So the second question asking about equation of normal. So when you see equation of normal, what information you must gather? X, y, and gradient. X, y, and gradient. But remember, when it's a normal, you need to apply m1, m2 equals to minus 1. Okay, so let's go. So they say x is 1, y also 1. So we can directly extract these 2 information. So we can directly find what is my dy dx. Dy dx is actually the gradient for the tangent. We differentiate this, will become. So when x is 1, we found that the gradient for tangent is 1. Then remember, we're using m1, m2 equals to minus 1. 1 times minus m2 equals to minus 1. m2 is minus 1. So we have the information of x, y, and gradient for the normal. Then we can know y equals to mx plus c. 1 equals to minus 1 times 1 plus c. So c is 2. Then we can know y equals to minus x plus 2. Since the question do not request this must be right in y equals to mx plus c or any other form, then we just leave it here. There are some students asking me, teacher, can I use another formula if I don't want to use y equals to mx plus c? Yes, you can use y minus y1 equals to m, x minus x1. So this is the equation of straight line that we learned in maths, which this equation derived from m equals to y minus y, x minus x. Agree or not? So this is the same equation. So you can use this to find the straight line equation also. We always subs in the x and y at the side, okay? So y minus 1 equals to minus 1, x minus 1. So y equals to minus x plus 1. This minus 1 throw here become plus 1. So you get exactly the same answer. So you can use this equation or this equation, is up to you. Okay, so let's go for one more question related to equation of normal. So they say the equation of normal, the normal to the curve of this at a point which x equals to 2 meets y-axis, which means you need to know what is equation of normal, which is a straight line. And this normal, it cut through y-axis and this coordinate called P. Okay, so first thing you need to form the straight line equation first. So whenever it's normal equation, we need to gather how many information? 3 information. X, Y, gradient. Okay, let's go. So X is given is 2. Y haven't given us, so we need to find ourselves. So it's ln 6. So we can find the gradient of tangent by doing dy dx. Oh, this question is a quotient rule. So u equals to v equals to, we find du dx and dv dx. So we can get the dy dx, which is the gradient of tangent by using quotient rule. This time this minus this time this divided by this square. And then when application question, we subs in our x into the equation. You get gradient of the tangent is minus 2.92. So after we know m tangent is minus 2.92, so according to m1, m2 equals to minus 1, so negative 2.92 times gradient for normal equals to minus 1. Gradient for normal is 1 over 2.92. So after we gather the information of x, y, and gradient, we able to form the straight line equation. So I can use both equations. Let's say I use y minus y1 equals to m x minus x2. For this equation, the good thing is we do not need to find what is the value of c. This is already my equation of normal. So if I know the equation of normal, so we can find what is the coordinate of P. So coordinate of P lies on y-axis. So y-axis means x equals to 0. So subs in x equals to 0. And you get y equals to 1.11. So congratulations, you know coordinate P is 0, 1.11. Okay, so after we know how to use a curve to form a straight line equation, which is equation of tangent or normal, we go to the second application, which we can relate rate of changes by using differentiation. So let's go. The thing that we need to know when we do rate of changes question, we must write your information in mathematical words. So how we do that? So they give us the volume of the sphere as this. Then they mention the volume of spheres is increasing at a rate of 24. So you need to write this sentence in mathematical sentence, which volume change with the rate. Whenever you see a rate and they do not mention this rate is based on what, then you directly relate it with dt. So they tell us it's 24. So this is how we change this part into the mathematical sentence. Then they say find the rate of increase of the radius. Means that they ask you to find what is dr dt. After identify the information, so we can now using chain rule. Okay, so what's the meaning of chain rule? Chain rule is very easy, it's very logic. Why? Because to find dr dt is actually dr times with something dt. Agree or not? I repeat again, chain rule means this dr on top, I put on the left. This dt on the bottom, we put on the right bottom. What is the name that we need to fit in here and here? So we need to refer back what information we have. Firstly, we have dt here. Okay, so what is above it is dv. So we can confirm here is dv, here must be dv. Why? Because dv and dv you can cut. So if you cut, left dr dt. So this is the meaning of chain rule, which you chain this dr dv and dv dt to become dr dt. So after we relate them correctly, then we can fit in the information. dv dt is 24. The information that we still don't have is dv dr. But no worry, why? They give you something to relate v and r. So can we find dv dr? What is it? Yes, we can do differentiation. So it will become parallel front. So times 3 will become 4. Pi is still pi. R cubed will become r squared. So this is our dv dr. And always remember when we do application, we must subs in the unknown, which tell us radius is 6. So we subs in here, r is 6. So it is 144 pi for dv dr. So we can fit all information here. So dr dv is the reverse of dv/dr. So it's 1 over 144 pi. And then here is 24. So our dr dt is 0.0531. Congratulations, you gain 4 marks. So we try one more rate of change question. Remember, rate of change question, you need to write it in mathematical sentence. Then we do chain rule. So 2 steps. These x and y are rated by this equation, given that x is increasing in a rate of 0.04. So x is increased in the rate. So means dx dt equals to 0.04. Then it says, find the corresponding rate of change of y, which means dy dt is, I don't know. After we extract all the information in mathematical sentence, we do chain rule. So we know that dy dt is dy over something times something over dt. The previous info that we have is dx over dt. Agree or not? So we can confirm here is dx, here is also dx. So we already know dx dt is 0.04. So we need to find dy dx. Given y is this, dy dx is 2 become nothing, tangent becomes secant square, baby, we copy. But remember, when we deal with baby, we need to differentiate baby. 1 differentiate nothing, but minus x differentiate will be -1. So we need to times minus. And remember, when we deal with application question, we also need to subs in what is our value of x. But this question, they do not directly give us what is our x. They just give us y is 3. So no choice, we need to go and find x first. According to the equation, we found that it's this. Then we solve it by using the trigonometric gene calculator. We found that this. So x equals to. So after we get what's the x, we substitute here. So we know that dy dx equals to negative. Secant is 1 over cos. Key in calculator, we'll get this part is negative 2.000. So after we have what is our dy dx, we have our dx dt. So we can solve it. Dy dx is minus 2.000 is 0.04. So our final answer is negative 0.08. Congratulations, you already gained 6 marks. Okay, we already settled 2 applications. So now it's the 3rd application, which is small changes. So when you do it small changes question, you just need to know this formula. Dy dx is small changes of y over small changes of x. So this formula, no need to remember, is very common sense. Agree or not? The question tell you the equation is this. And then they say use differentiation to find the approximate change of x, which means they're asking you what is this. They say y is changed from 4 by a small amount of 0.01, means the small changes of y is 0.01. So we already know this information. And we want to find this, and we can find our dy dx. Agree or not? Okay, so we find our dy dx. So we rearrange first. This is 1 plus 2x power minus 1 plus x power minus 2. So 1 differentiate become nothing. Then 2x power minus 1 throw front become minus 1 times 2 minus 2. So x power minus 1 become x power minus 2. And then this part minus 2 times in front become minus 2. X power minus 2 become x power minus 3. And then always remember we must subs in the x value when we do application. Here, do you know what is x value? Don't know. So the question gives you y is 4. So we need to find what is our x first. So y equals to 1 plus 2 over x plus 1 over x squared. So y is 4. So everything times x squared to remove the denominator. So 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 1 times x squared is x squared. 2 over x times x squared is 2x. And then this times this is 1. And then since the question mentioned x more than 0, so we reject this part. So x is 1. We can stop in here. Then we can confirm our dy dx is minus 2, which is minus 4. So apply the formula dy dx equals to small changes y over small change of x. So dy dx is minus 4, small changes of y is 0.01, so small change of x, I don't know. So this thing cross multiply, small change of x is 0.01 over minus 4. So my final answer is minus 1 over 400. So let's go for one more small changes question. Remember, we need to use dy dx equals to small changes of y over small changes of x. Equation given, x is given 0.1. Then x changed to 0.1 plus h, which means small change of x is h. So we can apply, we already know this is h. Then we need to find dy dx. Then we find dv dx, we differentiate 1, nothing, minus x will become minus 1. So after we gather all four information, we can apply the quotient rule. If you need more assist on how to do quotient rule, please refer back to the part 1 of differentiation. Okay, so quotient rule is, we start from v times du dx minus this time this, divided by v squared. We know in application question, we must sub in our x value to this equation to find the value of dy dx. So let's go. You can directly key into calculator. You get 14.3. So after you get dy dx is 14.3. So we apply this formula. 14.3 equals to small changes of y over h. So small changes of y equals to 14.3 h. Again, 6 marks. Okay, so let's go for the fourth application, which we use differentiation in kinematic. So why I will write SVA here? Because in kinematic, we need to know SVA, which is displacement, velocity, and acceleration can relate with differentiation and integration. When you from left go to the right, so let's say you have s, you want to find the velocity, you just differentiate it, you know what is the formula for velocity, and then if you get velocity equation, then you differentiate will become acceleration equation. Of course, we can go back by using integration, but that thing we will learn in integration. Okay, so after you know their relationship, let's see the question. When I see the question is kinematic, I will write SVA first and I will feed in the information accordingly. The question says S is this, which is displacements is given. So I write it here. For part A, they ask for what is the velocity expression and acceleration expression. So V is the differentiation of your S. So differentiate ln of this part is differentiate baby, AT. Minus t will become minus 1. So this is v. Then we find acceleration by differentiate this part. Okay, so we found that, oh, this is a quotient rule. So to find a, we must do u equals to 8t, v equals to 4t squared minus 5. Okay, so acceleration is this time this minus this time this divided by v squared. So this is how we find a, and then we still need to differentiate minus 1, but after differentiate, minus 1 become nothing. So acceleration completely is like this. Some student ask me, teacher, do I need to simplify this part? Okay, for this question, they allow you, as long as you successfully reach here, you can gain full mark. But if you wish to simplify, yes, you can do so. Because question do not specify, you must simplify V and A. Okay, last application of differentiation, which is the max or mean, 2 parts. First part we already learned in maths, which we need to know how to find the turning point or stationary point, max point or mean point. So whenever they tell you to find these, means you need to solve by using dy dx equals 0, and then usually they will continue to ask you to determine the nature. It means you need to confirm and prove whether it is max or mean. We do by d2y dx squared. So if it's less than 0, then it's max. If it's more than 0, then it's mean. Okay, so this is the thing that we learned in maths. The thing that new in MS is the application. For example, the question asks you to find what is the maximum length, maximum area, minimum volume, this kind of situation. So let's see this first question. The question gives us the equation and asks us to find the coordinate of stationary point. So whenever you see stationary point, directly write dy dx equals to 0. To find the coordinate, we just do dy dx. So for part A, we need to modify first. 1 over 8x squared. This square only belong to x, not belong to 8. So my 1 over 8, I remain like this. Just the x power 2, I become x power minus 2 by throwing it up. If your question is 1 over 8x holding square, then only you change it to holding 8x power minus 2. So you need to be careful. Then we can do by the x. So power through front, power minus 1, power through front times 1 over 8 minus 1 over 4. X power minus 2 become x power minus 3. Then divide the x equals to 0. To continue solve, I don't like to have denominator, so everything I times x cubed. Since both part also square, so no matter it's positive 1 over 4 or negative 1 over 4, I will get my y is 4. So my coordinate is 1 over 4, 4, or negative 1 over 4, 4. So successfully gain 5 marks. So for the next question, they ask, these stationary points have same nature. Use the second derivative test. Means that they ask you to use d2y dx squared to determine whether they are max or mean. So for part B, we do d2y dx squared. So we use this to differentiate. So 64x becomes 64. So this part power through front become plus 3 over 4. X power minus 3 minus 1 become x power minus 4. Then we subs in when x equals to 1 over 4. When x equals to minus 1 over 4, my d2y dx squared equals to 256. So this is more than 0, so this is minimum. Oh, you subs in minus 1 over 4 because it's power negative 4, so it still give you the same thing. So both also more than 0, so both also minimum point. Okay, so just like that, you can gain all 3 marks. Okay, last we go to the application question, which is how to find the max and mean. So to find the max and mean, usually the pattern of IG's question is like this. They ask you to show some equation, okay? And then before they ask you to show the equation, they give you 2 information. Can you see here? Curved surface area of a cylinder that have radius of r and height of h is 2 pi r h. So the curved surface is 2 pi r h. This is the area information. This is the information 1. The second information, they say closed cylinder have radius of r and volume of 1000. So they also give you volume is 1000. So they will give you 2 sets of information. Why? Because each information usually will have 2 unknown. So they give you 2 equations. So 2 unknown can solve into 1 unknown. Can you see at last they ask you to write everything in r without h. So how can remove the h? By using the relationship of these 2 information given. So if you're not very sure what is it, no worry, we just use whatever they give us first. Volume is 1000, and we know the volume is surface area times the height. So the surface area is pi r squared. Pi r squared times h is 1000. There are 2 unknown here, and at last, the thing that asks us to show no h. No h means that we need to know what is h, so we can remove all the h. So h is 1000 pi r squared. So we must know what is h. So later we see any h, we can remove it. So they ask us to show that the total surface area is this. So we know the area of a closed cylinder. There are 2 circles up and down, which is 2 pi r squared. And then we have the curved side of the cylinder, which they give you 2 pi r h. Can you see? our area formula have two unknown, but the thing that asks us to show only R without H. So that's why previously I asked you to find what is the H. So you can replace here. So everything would be in R, no more H. So can you see? Area is this 2 pi R squared plus 2000 over R. Okay, exactly the same as this. So you can 3 marks. Then part B, find the value of R which makes the area minimum. Max or min is always differentiate equal to 0. So over R, I write in R power minus 1. So we can differentiate it easier. So this equation is A, the unknown is R. So we differentiate become dA dr. So power through front, power minus 1, power through front, power minus 1. So we know what is our dA dr. And then minimum means dA dr equals to 0. R power minus 2, I throw it down back, become over R squared. I want to remove the denominator. Everything I times R squared. Okay, 0 equals to 4 pi R cubed minus 2000. So R equals to 2000 over 4 pi cube root. So if you key calculator, you get 5.419. Okay, so at least 3 significant figure, but you can write a bit more. You should show that your value of R gives you a minimum. They ask us to prove that this is a minimum, so we need to do second derivative. We use d2a dr squared. So we differentiate this part, will become power through front, power minus 1, become 4 pi. R become R power 0. So this times minus 2000 become plus 4000. R power minus 3. That's in our R. Then key calculator, we get 37.7, which is more than 0, so we can prove it is minimum. Just like that, you gain all 5 marks. So when you see this, means that we already cover all the application techniques that we need to know in differentiation. Make sure you master these 5 techniques, and integration, which is the reverse of differentiation, we'll teach in the next lesson. So see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.